following the rising need to rebuild, resuscitate, and rejuvenate the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa, the Minister of Transport, Minister Mbalula, alongside the board chair of Prasa, as well as the CEO, conducted an oversight at the Passenger Rail Agency on Wednesday, the 20th of July, 2022.
We undertook
these are the minister's findings
an oversight inspection on the Prasa reconstruction and recovery work in various corridors in Gauteng on 20th July 2022. We noted the significant progress made by Prasa in relation to a number of areas identified as priority for the recovery of commuter rail corridors. The works currently underway gave us comfort that Prasa is on track to achieve the target of returning the 10 priority corridors we committed and which were committed as well by the President in the State of the Nation address. These corridors will all be returned before the end of the calendar. We have noted progress in the following critical areas. The SIU investigation identified 44 employees against whom consequences management were recommended. Prasa has since taken the following actions against implicated employees, considering that 11 have since resigned and are no longer in the employ of Prasa. 1 employee was dismissed, 1 resigned, 4 were given 12 months final written warning, 1 given a 6 months written warning, 11 were found not guilty, 1 employee was not disciplined because there was no basis for discipline. 13 cases are in various stages of the disciplinary process. 1 employee is on suspension. In relation to the irregular Siangena, famous Siangena contract, 3 senior executives were implicated by the Zondo Commission. 1 such employee has since left the employ of Prasa, and another resigned before disciplinary process could be initiated, while 1 has since been dismissed. In relation to the Shwifambo contract, famous, notorious Shwifambo contract, 6 senior executives are going through a disciplinary process. The Werksman investigation, premised on the public protector's derailed report, Public Protector Thulima Tonzel, further identified irregularities which were referred to the SIU for further investigation. Consequent to the SIU report, 5 employees were implicated. 4 of these employees were dismissed, and there was insufficient evidence against 1 of these. 1 of the dismissed employees was reinstated by CCMA, but Prasa is taking the matter on review at the Labour Court. From the Public Protector's derailed report, the report by the former Public Protector Thulima Tonzel, 4 employees were dismissed, but 2 were reinstated by CCMA. Prasa initiated Project Ziveze, aimed at physically verifying all Prasa employees, with the identification of 3,000 employees who could not be verified and who their salaries were frozen. Since the freezing of salaries, more employees from those previously not verified came forward. A forensic investigation is currently underway on the possible ghost employees and how these found their way into the payroll of Prasa. Once the forensic investigation is concluded, action will be taken against those implicated. Withdraw the salary, kuvelumd. Withdraw the salary, freeze the salary, kwavelumd. Operation Ziveze headcount must be completed and identified ghost workers terminated from the payroll and culpable officials disciplined. On the corridor recovery, the corridor recovery program is making steady progress. We have been emphatic that this work must move at a brisker pace to alleviate the plight of those who rely on commuter rail of their livelihood. We can't overemphasize this point. Amidst the challenges of the fuel increase, amidst all the challenges that we've got, the hard hit are the working class who rely on these trains to go to work. It is of paramount importance, this work of the corridor recovery that we're doing and that Prasa is executing. 5 out of the 10 priority corridors have since been recovered and services are running. In Gauteng, the Mabopane and Salisbury lines to Pretoria, as well as the Vereeniging to Union lines, are now operational. In the Western Cape, the northern corridor between Cape Town and Bellville, the southern line to Simonstown, as well as the Cape Flats line are operational. Plans to reopen sections of the central line which are illegally occupied are at an advanced stage, and this we plan to do next week before end of July. In KwaZulu-Natal, services have resumed on the Mira Bank to Durban and KwaMashu to Durban lines. In the Eastern Cape, services have resumed in Gqeberha and East London using the diesel locomotives. In expediting the infrastructure rehabilitation work in some of the priority corridors, 3 lines have been temporarily closed for major repairs. Naledi, Johannesburg, Leralla and Pretoria, and Pretoria Pienaarsport lines. We are pleased with the progress on these lines, which remain on course to meeting the planned deadlines for service resumption. We are encouraged by the progress with the construction and rehabilitation works and we have directed the board to sustain the momentum and move at a brisker pace while paying closer attention to the following areas. Requisite supply chain management capacity must be built. As a matter of agency, to ensure that procurement processes are not hindered by capacity challenges, and adjudication of tenders is in line with the prescripts of the PFMA. Corruption and malfeasance must be dealt with decisively through effective consequence management. This includes contracts previously identified as irregular, which include Shifambo and Siangena contracts. And I wish to emphasize the report I got from the board, where it was reported widely in the media that the board is in cahoots with certain individuals from Siangena to withdraw the case and make out-of-court settlement. I was assured by the board through its chairperson, Mr. Leonard Ramatlakane, that there is no such board decision, and that Prasa will go ahead to oppose the appeal that has been lodged by Siangena. There is no out-of-court settlement. No out-of-court settlement will either be supported by myself as the minister. We walk the talk. The High Court have found that this contract was irregular, not only irregular, that there were corruption issues in relation to it. So the law must take its course, and we must defend Prasa's assets and the resources to ensure that at the end, the side of the people which Prasa stand on win in this case. Filling of vacancies must be expedited, and this must include the vacancy of the group CEO, who was appointed, and the terms of that appointment resulted in terms of contractual obligations that Prasa found in terms of the board that they are not satisfied with performance issues, and in terms of the contract that they've signed, they then decided to call it off. The path to the new and the appointment of the new group CEO is an urgent path that we support going forward. The approved security plan must be fully implemented with reinforcements of technological interventions such as drones and armored vehicles deployed in the identified corridors. You recover the corridor, you defend. You recover the corridor, you defend. The cleaning up campaign on Fridays, cleaning up of the stations, cleaning up of the stations must happen, must continue. It's a great program that we applauded, that has been initiated by Prasa Board and its management. Where corruption has been identified, such as the one that has now been reported of insurance scam, reported by management, this must be investigated and decisive action taken without delay. Without delay. Prasa is no longer a place where criminals has-beens and current criminals, that is their place to urinate all over the place. When they don't find a place to urinate, their comfort zone, the place where they find comfort to play around, is Prasa. And that must be stopped by the board and the management of Prasa. And corruption, that's how it will be dealt with. The war room must be the cornerstone of monitoring and implementation. The current war room at Prasa must be the cornerstone of monitoring and implementation. Not evaluation, implementation. The war room meet weekly at Prasa, look at implementation, We've got 40 corridors at Prasa. And I've seen yesterday, some of the corridors can't take us even a month. They will be back to life. And then we will get the yellow trains and the blue and grey trains, Istimela Sabantu, back on track in some of the corridors. Remember, it was only at level 5 for the first time after 40 years that the train stopped running in the Republic of South Africa. Because of the fear of a mass spreader, the train would have become in the fight against COVID-19. In that process, when the train stopped, that's when we saw the intensification of vandalism and all of that, things that have actually happened. So the train's recovery and reconstruction of Prasa is the moment we are embracing. And we call upon everybody to walk with us as we navigate through this path of recovery and reconstruction. Recovery and reconstruction of Prasa is dialectically intertwined. It's not, the other one is not mutually exclusive from the other. They run parallel. Reconstruction is the work that we are doing in terms of ensuring that we build stations and we modernize, which is the work that has been in the pipeline, but was derailed along the way. Recovery is to bring back the lines, corridors, all of them back so that our people can commute to work. And that is the most urgent task we are focused on. By end of the year, we get all the corridors 10 that we promised, which are densely populated, but not confined only to the 10. We need to go beyond that. So end of the year, beginning of next year, the trains must be back online better, effective, and magnificent. And that is what we want. With everybody who's prepared to work and to work honestly at Prasa, you've got our support. To the board that understands its mandate, you have our 100%, 200% support. You deviate from your mandate, we will not hesitate to take the right decisions. To the management that is dirtying its hands on a daily basis, continue the good work. You've got the support of our people, first and foremost, and then our government, to ensure that we bring the trains back on track. Prasa is an important organization, very important organization. And Prasa is not a dying organization. It can only improve from here. Informed by the new rail policy, I've seen certain municipalities in the country want us to devolve the services. We'll follow due processes as outlined in the rail policy. Everybody must come on board in the endeavor to make railway, passenger rail, effective for our people. As government, we believe, working together, we can do more. Aziz, thank you very much.